Okay, forget the music crap. Cut the music. Okay. All right.
Welcome to
Hello.
View.
Hello. Welcome to the View. Hello. Welcome to this episode of the View. I'm one of the hosts. I don't know what my name is anymore.
It's Terrell.
Uh,
We just use it. We can just use whatever names. Doesn't really
yeah,
matter.
my name is Terrell. And welcome to the View. We got some great things to start off with tonight. But let's welcome everybody here. We got Bobbert Sanders. Uh,
Hello.
we we got uh, we got Governor Nathan Brown. We got Governor Samuel Martinez, and we have Senator uh, David Soriano Garcia. So welcome to the show, boys, and we're gonna get this show on the road. So first of all, big news: season 28 presidential election, and some big news. Uh, quite frankly, you got some candidates out there who have already announced some people, prominent figures such as Governor Ethan Davis of District 3 or Heartland. You have Senator Dave Davidson of what state is he from again? Is it
Jefferson.
Florida? Oh,
Jefferson.
yeah, Jefferson is from Florida. You have the other guy. You got two more. Is Marty Davies in the race?
Yes, and in the Bull Moose primary, you have former Representative Marty Daves and Representative Mayowa Olabode.
Okay,
Oh,
so
and we almost forgot. We almost forgot. Governor Grant is running with
oh yeah, that
Epideli.
guy. Okay.
Right.
So two perennial candidates and three
Oop.
somewhat major candidates. Okay. Um well, let's go around and share some opinions on that.
Yeah. So I mean, this
Would you
field
let
of
me talk? I'm kidding.
this
Okay,
field of
Megan.
candidates is interesting, I'd say.
I have something to say. So what I will tell you is this, and in the words that I use, and I tell people this, and I'm not afraid to say this. This is probably one of the weakest fields of candidates that I have seen in a very long time. In my opinion, this is one of the weakest fields that I've seen. And the problem I have here is that most of these candidates running, I don't see, you know, their appeal to people. I don't see how they will be able to get things done. I mean, just about
We got an echo.
actually
Can someone mute their mic with that
What's
echo?
wrong with me? Hold on.
Nathan.
I'll go to
Uh,
my phone.
every every candidate that is running as of right now has had some type of government experience, no matter how big or little it is. They've had government experience. Not all experience is good experience, but when you look at all of the candidates, my thing is who can be the most effective leader. And in my opinion, I don't believe that there is, in my opinion, right now, one candidate in this race who has stood out to me as someone who has the potential to be president of the United States. And quite frankly, reading the CBS article, there are rumors of a United candidate jumping in,
Mm.
which, they say that the analysts of CBS can't predict anyone jumping in and stealing all the support, which, let me say this, it's not unlikely. It's not impossible, and it's not unlikely. It can happen. And if the United candidate does jump in, it's going to be is I'm not going to say it's going to be tough.
Well, it's going to be tough for the United candidate. I think that
No,
I
no.
think that the new candidate might have a hard time, depending on who he or she is, because Dave Davidson and Ethan Davis have kind of uh, made themselves the front runner of this election, and I think
It's true.
it'd be kind of hard for a candidate to break through that and make themselves
Well,
a viable
look at it
third
as
or
this.
second choice candidate.
Look at it as this. You have Dave Davidson, a person who, quite frankly, uh, cannot be president. I'm just going to say
Wow.
that outright. He cannot be president. He does not have, as Donald Trump is say, he doesn't have the look. He doesn't have the stamina. He doesn't have the stamina to be president. That's one thing. Ethan Davis, on the other hand, I've seen what he's done, and I've seen him in work. Not really that impressed, but The kid is. I can see why the kid is one of the top front runners. But what I will tell you is this: it's going to be hard, yes, when you're running for public office, especially when you jump in. I mean, can't say it's last minute, but when you jump in so late, yes, it's going to be hard, but is it impossible? No, because there are multiple people in this community who, if they were to announce for president right now, that they could jump in and they could still support from those two candidates. And it could easily make this a three-way election. I mean, it's not going to be all it takes is for a prominent figure who's not running to jump in, especially if they're a strong candidate, and they can steal that support.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes,
I,
Megan McCain.
I've been going through some polls, and I was seeing, I saw some undecided voters who they were, and if first off, um, when was this poll? 7 days ago. That CBS poll.
Is
Uh,
the first CBS News poll?
the one with 45 votes. I think so.
Yeah,
Maybe. I
the
don't know.
first of this election. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Davis and Davidson are clearly the front runners in this election.
But
11
that's
votes
of the
each.
candidates, though.
Huh?
That's of the
Yeah,
candidates.
that's of the
Undecided is winning. Yeah.
candidates. Yes, there are 16 undecided voters in that poll, and I believe it's the highest turnout, the poll with the highest turnout. But these people in the poll, they usually do not vote together, and it would be very unlikely to see these people. I'm not going to point them out or name them because that would kind of be disrespectful. But I know people, how they vote, who they're most likely going to vote for, and I cannot think of anybody who could get every one of these undecided voters because it will be hard. It will be hard to get
But
every
see,
single one of them. But
but see, there have been.
I can't see any candidate uniting all these undecided voters because they're of all kinds of different ideologies of different quote unquote classes of MEC, different cliques. So um, it'll be
Well,
definitely hard. It would definitely be hard for a breakout candidate to emerge.
I mean, the problem is, and I will tell you this: if you, and I want to put this question on the table for every person who is running for president. Not many people can name me off the top of their head what any one of these candidates have done in their time in government.
Well, I could. I mean, David Davidson has
Well,
done
I
a
mean,
number
you.
of things
I
to
mean,
make.
you're the president, so you clearly see what goes on. But you go out to somebody who's not.
Like me, like I
Yeah,
haven't been
you go
around.
out. Yeah, you go out to somebody like Nathan, or you go out to somebody like me. You ask me, what have these candidates done? I can't tell you. You know why? Because none of these candidates, with the exception of maybe Dave Davidson, and he doesn't really do it either. None of these candidates really come out and say, "Here's what I've done." They don't really speak out. When they do something, they don't really talk about it. So if you go to somebody who's not an everyday person, who's everyday Washington person, they're not going to know anything that these candidates have done. And that's my thing. What have these candidates done? And what they have done and what they are running off of, does it align? Because, I know some of these people very well. A lot of these people that are running, I know them very well. But
I'm good friends with them.
if you go out and ask what have these people done, nobody can name you anything.
Well, I think that's probably one of the reasons why Ethan Davis lost in season 23, and it could be his downfall in season 28 if he's not careful. I mean, what happened in his governor term is honestly shameful. And while he wasn't inactive, he was active in the community. He did not get a lot of his promises that he claimed he was going to do in his campaign done. And this was, this happened across the board with most governors, and especially Connor Grant. I mean, two of them are running for
Yeah,
president. You have
yeah.
two of them running for president now that ran on false promises and
Oops.
delivered
They,
nothing.
I mean,
And
he can't deliver. And I was thinking about that to
right,
myself earlier today. That Connor W. Grant has run for governor. We're going to do all of these amazing things.
right.
And what has Connor W. Grant done as governor?
He's
Nothing.
passed a constitution and a law with one
That's
word in
it.
it. One
That's
word
it.
in it. Yeah.
That's it. And literally,
What?
you can't credit yourself for just saying, "Oh, I wrote the Constitution. That's all we're going to do." No, you're the governor. You ran off these promises. Now it's your time to deliver. And if he wants to go a step further, I will tell him this. If you think about it, he didn't even write the whole Constitution himself. So
Right.
that's the thing. I'm in every gubernatorial community. I'm in every community except his community. And, even without being in there, what goes on? We don't know. So how can we say that Connor W. Grant is a candidate who delivers on promises when he hasn't even delivered in his own district?
And I was doing research for the evening news, CBS's evening news tonight, which will feature a article on Epideli and Connor Grant and their ticket. And Epideli has gotten virtually nothing done in the House. He's passed no bills, or maybe the bills that he has passed hasn't gone on to the Senate.
Damn.
And he's done 2 investigations, none of
Damn.
which had any comments on them. Any comments! And it looked like they had gone no further. And he had apologized halfway through his term for being too inactive. I mean, these are the people we're electing to the House, and we need news media in the House chamber, in the Senate chamber, to hold their feet to the fire in this. And I
But you
think,
know what, Robert? But we've said it before, and I'll say it again. These are the people that we keep electing. These are the people
well, right. I mean,
that
that's what I'm
the
saying.
There
voters
are
keep
only
electing.
options now.
And the thing is, these are the people that they keep electing. And I don't know what it is about people that
Well,
continue
it's
to.
because most people are too afraid to call out their friends, and if you call
This
out
is true.
if you
That's ironic.
Well, I mean, to me, if you just literally, and I asked the senator this earlier today. What have you done in the Senate?
You
And
ask that question every day.
well, I generally I do, but I went in the MEC chat
It's
today,
sad.
and I will say this: yes, when I have to question you as a senator, and DSG, you're not excluded from this. When you are a senator, and I ask you, what have you done in the Senate? As a voter, I take that very seriously, because how can we trust you? And you put out promises. You say, we're going to get this done. You ran off this, okay? And then you get to the Senate, you don't deliver. Or you get to the House, you don't deliver. We've had that trend too many times. And I think, I've said this before, we need a house cleaning. We need a pure house cleaning around the Congress. For those who aren't doing anything, who aren't being productive, get them out. I don't
Get them
care
out of here.
who you are, you need to run and get them out of here. We need to do some house cleaning, because overall, if this Congress is not doing anything, they need to go. It's either you do your job or you go. You're just not here to save a
This is
seat,
true.
keep a seat warm. It is time for you. If you can't get off your ass and do something, you got to go.
This is true.
And people don't like to say it, and people don't like to call out the truth, but that's the truth.
I'd say a lot of it's the truth. And this standard needs to be applied to season 28 in every possible way. We need to vet our candidates on what they have done and what they're going to do. And this is a problem in past elections where candidates just simply don't come up with policy. They write a platform, but if you read it, none of the policy they have is actual policy. Same thing with Connor Grant and a number of other candidates that are attempting to write huge platforms, but are really just filling it with fluffer that means nothing. And people have to vet their candidates on the policy and ask them tough questions, because if they can't hold up to tough questions, then they can't be president of the United States.
Well, one thing I will say is this, and I think if we go back and we look at like what has, when we look at what people have done, it amazes me. And I think one of the things that I did not like when we extended the Senate term to 12 weeks, but I'm kind of glad we did, because this 12-week period of these senators who were elected, who are going to get 12 weeks in the Senate, it's going to show their productiveness. You've had
Yeah, the
almost
Senate
3
elections
months.
are going to be a bloodbath.
You've had 3 months. You've been in the Senate for 3 months. What have you done in your 3 months being in the Senate? I think that is what it's going to show us. It is going to show us who is actually doing work and who is just being there just to keep a seat warm. That's what it's going to show us. And the one thing I will tell you is this. And I'm going to put this on the record. I'm going to say it outright. I kind of regret not running for Senate against Ashton Shabazz. Many people have told me about the things that he's done in the Senate, which is not very much. Many people have told me about, the actions that have been committed early on in his Senate when he first got to the Senate. But when it's around that time, I think the voters will choose. The voters will look, and they will ultimately make the decision. But my thing is this: if you're in the Senate and you're listening to this right now, and even though we have a senator here, if you're not going to do anything,
Wait, do we? Oh,
and
wait, David.
yeah, DSG is here. If you're going to be in the Senate and you're not going to do nothing, you either need to go ahead and just say you're not going to run for re-election or resign. There's no point in you in just being there to hold a seat. Go ahead, give it to somebody who's going to actually do something, and then go from there. But if you're just going to be there to sightsee, you can sightsee from outside. You can be an outsider looking in. Quite frankly, that's what I am right now, just an outsider looking in. I don't know everything that goes on. But right now, from what I do see as an outsider looking on the insides, trying to see what's going on, that there is not much really going on.
Also, David said a few minutes ago when we were talking about what's going on in government and how we don't see much, how we don't see any results. He said the average citizen doesn't know what's going on in the government, and he's kind of
And
right.
you know what the problem is? That's because you people in
hold on.
government,
It's
you people in
incumbent
government
on
don't actually talk about what you've done.
exactly.
That's why.
I was about to say it's incumbent on the legislator or the governor or even the president to tout the work that you've done. So Robert, all that work that you've been doing in the White House, make sure you talk about it. Make sure you
Okay.
publicize.
Well, hold on. It does get publicized and it gets posted,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
my
I know.
administration's been very good at transparency.
I
so
know.
that's
So
false, but
So keep doing that. I'm not calling you out. I'm commending you.
But
that's okay. Thank you.
But let's kind of and I don't want to change the topic too much, but let's talk about this partisanship.
Bring it back. It's a good thing.
Yes, bring it
Well,
back.
hold on 1 second. So partisanship. Many people talk about the level of partisanship we have had in this community. Robert Sanders, that would be your one of your parties. The Bull Moose Party, which has become a big tent party.
No.
Mainly,
Okay, hold on.
mainly,
If it
hold
was a
on,
Big
hold
Ten,
on,
no,
hold on, hold on.
hold on. If it was a Big Ten party, we
a
would
big-
not have a
a big
minority in
tent
government
party,
right now.
a big tent party.
No.
That's because the candidates you put up were not very good. I will tell you that.
I
But
don't put up
but
candidates. This isn't the UK.
you're
We had primaries.
listen. That's because the candidates, like Donald Trump said, they're not sending their best. So what I will say is this: that's because when you put up weak
Right.
candidates, they are
And
easily defeated.
the cons
But
did. The cons did.
when we talk about the Big Tent Party, many people, the Blue Moose Party, to me, in my opinion, if you ask me, is mainly, well, I think this is what they actually are, is mainly a progressive.
No, you can say it. It's a progressive party. We are focused on peace and prosperity. We have an agenda.
Leaning more
Yes.
towards the folks on the left than leaving out some folks on the right.
Well, purposely leaving them out. I mean, the whole reason I created this party is to increase partisanship. I wanted to fight the AIP, but the AIP conceded because they were weak. That's what I expected.
Hey,
I mean,
but
this
you know
is
what?
true. This is true.
I want to fight the cons, but they continue to concede because they don't want to fight me. I want to fight
Yeah.
the Republicans but they continue to concede because they don't want to fight me.
Well, you know what part
If
of
you
that is,
people
though?
actually don't like my
You
policies,
people.
then put up a leader and oppose me, my agenda, and my party, and we can have a debate on
Well, you know the problem
in
is
the issues, and we can have elections, and we
the
can
So
problem
you
have
is
want to be an Adam Evans?
the problem is we don't have anybody in this
no.
community who,
I'll be
because
more organized and effective.
they're too worried
Oops.
about they're too worried about um they're too worried about losing seats, and they're too worried about their pride more than standing up for what they believe is right. And to me, if you ask me, we have many people in this community who could stand up and be a leader um, against what's going on, but we don't have anybody in this community who is really willing to stand up and say we oppose what they're doing. And I think that's one of the reasons we need to stop being in the
Just
background
don't
and
be a
start
bitch.
being
If there
right.
is a majority of opinion and you're in the minority, stick with your principles, continue to fight back. If the majority wins, then move on to the next thing and try to get the majority and convince people to make yourself the majority.
but
Simple. That's
but
how politics works. If you can't understand that,
yeah.
then you shouldn't be in American politics. It's simple.
Well,
Uh-oh.
Robert, why wouldn't you say that? I mean, because as
Getting
of
off of sickness. I'm sorry.
when your party got started, and over time it has started to become one of the top parties in this community, which is why I called it one of the big 10 parties in this community. Because you've had,
Hmm.
I mean, because not many, the last time we saw a party that has come in, they have so many members join, and you have a lot of members running. And that party was, I don't know if everybody remembers, the Liberal Democrats.
Well, I would say it
Um,
was actually the AIP, but
no, the Lib Dems. The last time that a party was actually they actually got more people elected was the Lib Dems,
Yeah,
because
because they were threatening to
the
the
Lib Dems,
Democratic Party. I
yeah,
remember the
the Lib
AIP
Dems
was
had
the
come in and took
replacement
over.
of the Democratic Party, and
that's
the
true.
Democratic Party, since the dissolving of the Liberal Democratic Party, the Democratic Party, the DNC, was the party pretty much of establishment people,
And the
people, established
DNC, but
politicians.
you know what though, and is I hear rumors that well, not really rumors, but I hear that the DNC is back apparently.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
yes, Ben
that's
McKay
been
is
going
leading
on
it.
for weeks.
Isn't Ben McKay the
Well,
chairman right now?
Yep.
isn't that a problem?
I'd love for him, Ben McKay, to stand up and fight me. I'd love to get in the ring with Ben McKay again in the
But you know
political arena
what?
for the last
You
4 weeks
know,
of my
Ben
presidency.
McKay, Ben
I'd love it.
McKay has not been able to get people to join back to the Democratic Party.
Well,
I've been
I think
considering it.
that's a
I have
greater
been
fault.
considering it.
I think that's a greater fault of him as a politician. And I don't. We're in a live chat right now. We're on the View, so I won't say too much. But um,
I mean, that's
it's a
what
reason why he
it's the
lost in
title.
season 26. Right? I
Yeah.
mean, we have to stop this faux politician speak. If you have principles, stand with them, and people will support you. That's why presidents win. Whoever wins the presidency won because they had principles, they stood with them, and they kept fighting for them. When you concede and cuck yourself on some issues, as my friend from New England has, um, you lose, and you lose public interest, and you start to not be able to coalesce a group of people, and you start to become a less effective leader. And then that's happening to a number of presidential candidates right now.
I think if we look at all of this, um, and think about it, you have the Democratic Party, you have the Bull Moose Party, you, what was that other party they gave
It's
up
the
already?
AIP.
conservatives. It's the conservatives.
The Conservative Party, which quite frankly, that could have become a big thing had they
Right.
Yeah,
not
could have.
had they
If
not.
they
I
stuck
mean,
to principles, but they went moderate. They went moderate and
Yep.
lost.
well, at that point, if you go moderate, then don't be the Conservative Party, be a
Yeah, that's
different
the thing.
party
No,
around
no, no.
around moderates.
What I've always been fighting for, even after my presidency, is that we need a left wing party and we need a right wing party. And the
Well, I
left and
believe
right
with the
wing party
Bullish
need to
Party,
be
you have
big
it.
tent to have moderate forces inside of them to, but not too moderate, or actually moderates in the parties, but not centrists. And that's kind of impossible because everybody in MEC wants to be a centrist. It just
Well,
happens.
I
It's
have.
because it's all the fault of quote unquote bipartisanship. You do not have to be a centrist to be bipartisan. You can be a radical. Look at AOC and Lindsey Graham.
Well,
You
I
can be
have one thing
radicals
to
on
tell
both
you.
ends and still be bipartisan. So when you say partisanship is a bad word, no, not
No,
really.
I have one
I think that's
announcement.
polarization.
I have one announcement. So for everybody knows that I've been serving on the Supreme Court. Um, at the end of this week,
You have?
Yeah,
shut
right.
up.
I was like, what?
At the end of the week, I will be hanging up,
Not ironic.
hanging it up, and I will be at the end of the
Shit!
week.
Terrell, why did you have to
Yes,
do this now?
yes.
I'm literally just about to post evening news, and I don't have the time to write an article while we're on The View.
Well,
That doesn't.
that sounds like a you problem.
It is a me
Um,
problem. It's
yes.
pissing me off.
But at the end of this week, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it Thursday or Friday, but I want to do it before the holidays. Mainly over the holidays, I'm going to spend more time with family, and away from Mac. But
You know, damn.
at the shut up at the end of the week or at the beginning of next week, I will be resigning my place um, on the Supreme Court. And I will say that it has been an honor and a privilege to serve as a justice. And many things come and go. And I believe that um, right now, uh, the Supreme Court, um, the Supreme Court is not where it should be. But so I will be hanging it up at the end of this week or next week, and if the president wants to, unless he lets the incoming president do it, that there will be two newly appointed and confirmed justices to fill those vacancies. But it's been an honor, and I would say I would miss it. I will miss it, but I'm not going to say that
Because you
because
don't.
you and I both know that I would not be lying. So I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna miss it, but I am. The one thing I will miss is the oral arguments and talking about
Huh.
cases. So, um, and also DSG, you know, you don't make me talk about my confirmation hearing, because if we want to talk about that and we can talk about
Terrell.
who did what, I mean, we can go there. But
Down, boy, down.
hey,
Bad
hey,
jigaboo, bad jigaboo.
I'll
hey,
just
we
put
come
that.
on the
I'll put
View.
that in the
Listen,
morning news, actually.
hey, listen. This is the View, okay? If you didn't want to hear that, oh well.
Yeah.
But
This is
in
The
other
View.
news,
We share our opinions.
we share our opinions. In other news, I am. One thing I will say is, though, we have some big plans after I leave the court. I have some big plans in store, and we are going to see what those big plans are. But they're going to be very big, very big. We're going to do some very great things. Maybe in Washington, maybe outside of Washington. But either way, we're going to do some very, very big things. And I'm hoping that maybe some folks that I know can we can get together and we can do some very big things come at the end of this week or next week. So I'll be meeting with those people. But the world will see what those big things are when they are announced. So that's very bigly. In other news, uh, China, China. Robert,
China,
you want
China.
to explain more about China?
Yeah. Well, I'll head up China. So China, uh, just the other day or yesterday. Let me just get it up right here so I can get the specifics. So I'm stalling. All right, here. So China, um, announced yesterday at around 8 o'clock that new tariffs, it would put new tariffs on U.S. agricultural products, trade barriers, incentives to Chinese manufacturers, and continue to devalue the Chinese yuan. This comes after more than a year of bad news from the state of Chinese manufacturing when the U.S. under um, President Evans in a previous term of his officially declared them a currency manipulator and rescinded the permanent normal trade relations status. Um, China initially took an isolationist response to Evans's retaliatory U.S. trade policy, but new reports indicate that if China's policy, if not countered by the administration, China could surpass the U.S. in growth. And the Sanders administration has responded by saying that they're going to be pursuing some free trade agreements, possible tariffs, a possible reintroduction of the like a yeah free trade agreements, um, possible tariffs, and to combat the uh, rising food scarcity, food insecurity nationwide. They're going to be working with a number of governors to try and pass policy
Well,
to combat that.
that's very good. Very good. Um, so, um, so to some folks who just joining us, welcome to the view. We have here with us Adam Evans is here. Um, Adam, welcome.
Good evening.
And it's good to see you. So, um, Adam, would you like to comment on anything that we've talked about thus far? I mean, we've talked about the upcoming presidential race, candidates and that are running, some folks that serve in Congress. Anything you want to comment on?
There's a lot of interesting candidates running for president.
Well,
oh God, don't get us
interesting.
started on that.
Interesting is not even the word at this point.
There are some okay.
It's interesting, but at
There
the
are
same
candidates I
time,
wouldn't
Adam,
mind being president.
it's interesting, but at the same time, it's kind of disappointing.
Well, we've had disappointing elections.
We've had disappointing elections, but we have disappointing candidates in this race.
Oops.
We've had far more disappointing presidents.
Yeah, I was about to say.
There
25.
the candidates in this race and the presidents that I think that they would make. I'm not going to reveal who I support. I think that there are a number of candidates who would not make good presidents.
No,
But
absolutely.
the candidates who have a chance, there are a few candidates that actually have a chance of winning the election.
Yes.
Those candidates, I think, would make all right presidents, at least all right presidents, and they
There's a
have the
lot.
potential to do that.
There's a lot of people that aren't running or have already dropped out for some dumb reason that would have made pretty okay presidents,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
made a pretty dumb decision.
I mean, I will say this, well, I don't. He don't like being called Jasper. I don't care. Jasper Lee, or Jasper Riley, who changes his name every other day.
Oh.
Riley Lee, same difference. Dropped out, which, if you ask me, I don't know why he dropped out.
Oh,
shit. I guess because he was
Bold
polling
numbers.
I guess he was polling at 0.
Because I'm at 42 and you're at what? 2?
Yeah, right. I'm at 42 and you're like, what, 2? So, I mean, I guess he dropped out because of his poll numbers. But, if anything,
Becoming a pattern with him, Terrell.
Well, I mean, polls have taught us a lot. When certain folks start dropping out, the person at the top, or who is a front runner, starts to gain some more votes, as we've seen with Uncle Joe Biden in Iowa once Kamala dropped out. You surge all the way to number 1, So
that was one poll. It could be an outlier. Let's be fair.
Well, still, I mean, the fact of the matter is, at that point, you saw what the effects of Kamala Harris dropping out did.
Yes, this is true.
So, I mean,
but he had like a 7-point surge when she was only polling at 3% in Iowa. So it's not all due to Kamala dropping out.
It's due to
it could be the No Malarkey tour too.
Well, yeah, the bus tour is helping, but if we think about it,
we can do push-ups right here, man.
Yeah.
Great.
I like that. But yeah, I mean, so anyway, back to
yeah.
Adam, I think you're right. Some folks who dropped out, they could have been very much okay presidents, but they were more concerned about their poll numbers than actually getting out there and talking about the issues that people face. And I think that's one of the things that candidates downfall on is that they're more focused on their poll numbers. Oh, we don't have the poll numbers to be president. Well,
I mean, if we looked at polling, many like history would look a lot different in MEC too. Like not even
yeah,
in real life, just in MEC alone, history would look a lot different.
it
I,
would.
Leave it at that.
just about every election has had wrong polls since,
Yes,
Yeah.
every election has had wrong polls. Yes.
like, drastically wrong polls since season 23.
I mean, and even in Robert's election, the polls were. We saw how the polls went. The polls were leaning in the favor, heavily in the favor of Brett Patrick. We
I
saw
wouldn't
how
say
that
heavily.
it really was because you were down. You were
Robert,
down.
just go with it. It makes you look better.
Yeah, well, but you were down, as Donald Trump would say, you were down bigly. But to pull off the win that you did, was very, I will say, very impressive. I've not really saw people do that before. When you go down in polling badly, or as low as you did, and come back to win an election,
I think
very
ev-
remarkable.
I think ever since the implementation of MeWe, polls have been effectively useless.
Yeah.
I agree,
This
because
is
polls
true.
and MeWe suck, and I think everyone knows that.
Well, the one
Yeah.
because the one
Compared to Google Plus,
the ones
at
on
least.
Google Plus we had actually showed you percentages.
Exactly.
How
You don't have to percentage it yourself.
right.
Well,
And
it didn't.
but now we have to. But I think with this, it more so can show you, in a way, okay, these are, well, you can do it in Google Plus, but here, these are the people that I need to reach out to, in order to win. And I, my thing is, when do we get to a point in this community, where people are going to just stop being afraid to speak up?
I don't think you're gonna get to that point. I just the,
Well,
the
because there's no one here. I mean, because everybody here is more so worried about their political careers, and more so worried about what's going to happen.
I
An
think
election,
people. I think it'll come to a point when people see that calling things out and calling out the honest truth is good for their political career, and I think that a number of the people that don't understand that now will understand that, and they will become what we are right now, when we move on from the community, and they will be criticizing the people that are what they are. I mean, it's a continuous cycle, of people just slowly but surely learning the ropes of the community, like we have in this call. I mean, everyone in this call has in some way, achieved what this community is about, like whether that be
High
winning the
ranks. Just
presidency.
high ranks. Let's leave it high ranks.
well,
Hi- right,
I'm not
high
gonna say
ranks.
Yeah.
everybody in this call, but
Well, everyone's made it to the Senate. Everybody here is made
everybody
it to
here has
The
made it
Senate
to
is
the
high ranks. That's why I say.
the Senate.
But yeah, I mean, and we all know something that most people don't in terms of like how to win and stuff, and it just takes a while for people to understand that. So incompetent people
Yeah.
will,
Ooh.
if they stay in the community and continue to try, become competent. I mean, all of us at one point were incompetent. We have to admit. We just have
I
to
mean,
face it.
this is true.
Well, I don't have anything else to say.
All right.
Okay, can we
No
just
other
talk about for a
topics.
second how Grant and Epideli are a ticket?
That. Ooh. That. It's something. That is definitely something, Robert.
But like, what would their presidency be like on a scale of 1 to 10? Rate their
I
presidency.
will not do such a thing because everybody thought Easton Wilkins would have been a great president.
Oh, high fags.
On the
I don't
contrary.
think anyone thought that. I don't think a single person except his supporters.
Well, you people still voted for him, so
Oh,
that
you
sounds like a
people.
problem.
You people.
You people, Kenneth. You people.
Wait, Nathan, I got a question. Is your representative Hank Johnson?
No. My God, no. My God.
The famous quote of my representative: "The
I'm
pot
afraid that
calling the
Guam will
kettle black
capsize.
isn't what we do here." Oh my God, you got that one? Jesus Christ.
Kenneth, so what's your opinion on the
I'm not.
presidential
I do
candidates?
not have John Lewis. I don't.
Okay, so I was just actually talking about presidential candidates with my parents.
No. I'm
So
talking about MEC
Mech-wise.
presidential candidates.
oh, okay, yeah, irrelevant sons of bitches. I don't care. These sons of bitches don't even know what the fuck they're doing. They're gonna fucking. One of them's gonna win. One of them's running off their name. Who else is running?
No, we're gonna know.
Okay, so we got something.
Connor Grant and Epidel.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Connor Grant. This is like the 50th time. Who else? Epidelli.
Ethan Davis.
No comment. Ethan Davis. All right, boo. We're gonna talk about Ethan Davis here. Ethan, boo. If you listening, you know you a Michigander. You know you from Michigan. I appreciate that. I mean, it's about time he runs. Like, am I right? You know, it's about time he runs for something. Who else is Infinite Kid? Irrelevant. Anyone that doesn't start with Ethan and ends with Davis will lose.
Well, it's pretty clear on who you support.
Oh no, I'm just saying who's gonna win. That's plain and simple.
Just otherwise, but again, polls. Since we've been on,
Is that because your siblings are going to vote for him?
Oops.
No, I haven't actually been voting. So, bitch, get off my level.
Get off of his level.
Get off the level.
All right, so let's talk about the current incumbent president. Okay, what have
How
we
he should
seen?
be impeached. Impeach
Okay,
him.
so
we're talking about you.
Oh my God,
yes.
the Trey voice.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about Robert Sanders real quick.
He should be impeached.
I told him specifically that this term is basically like his first term. Inactive in any sort of way.
Funny. That is so fucking funny, guys.
Okay, I want everyone here to recall if I made a joke. Am I laughing? You know, no. Okay. So, I mean, you have other people like doing bills, and you'd be like, "Ooh, you want to write a bill together?" and stuff like
right.
Hunty, do something that will impress this community. Like, if you're doing education reform, honey boo boo, Nathan already got that covered. If you're doing reforestation, bitch, I already got that covered. If you're doing,
can only be done once.
What? I mean, you're saying that things that are done once are automatically fixed. The 21st
This is true.
Like, okay, so Medicare's passed. Oh my God, everybody has healthcare.
Oh my God,
we can't stop healthcare anymore.
We just jumped from education to Medicare.
Wall Street regulation's done. Oh, we can't do any more Wall Street regulation. Oh, we already passed a trade policy. No more trade policies. We passed climate reform. No more climate reform. That's your comparison. It's a ridiculous comparison. Imagine if you were president and you used that attitude. You were like, okay, so what hasn't been done yet? We have to crack an area of the community that hasn't been done yet. Has people's snow been shoveled? Has that been done yet? Has we passed legislation to get snow shoveled yet? Is that what I can do? No.
You know what, Robert? You know what I can call
no,
your
presidency? Stop
presidency?
using your ridiculous comparisons and making it seem like you are in some way making a coherent argument. It's not a coherent argument. Okay?
You know, every time I talk bad about Robert's presidency, it's like such an insult that he will be so offended, like from any way, shape, or form. It's very offensive. It's a criminal offense.
No, I mean, you're
so
just
insulting.
using ridiculous arguments.
His panties get tighter than a clitoris that's never been used.
You're using ridiculous arguments that have no basis in fact. And you're saying that me rebutting what you say because I'm challenging your ridiculous arguments is somehow me having my panties in a twist, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
You people.
Okay.
Yeah, you people.
Okay.
Right.
Someone get the Mexican out now.
So you?
Okay, Tulsi.
I'm Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, that
Mhm.
kind of makes sense because Tulsi Gabbard was factually calling out Kamala Harris
You know,
for.
and then you get so offended when something gets directed towards you. So yes.
No, I mean you're just saying that I'm
Uh, uh,
just
uh,
putting my
uh,
name on
uh,
other people's bills. When
Incorrect.
it That's not incorrect. We're on live call right now. You
What?
can
No shit. That's
watch
why I
back and
joined.
see it.
My God.
All right,
Ladies, okay. Is there any people watching? First of all, how many viewers we have?
we have 5.
Okay, ladies, please go back, screen record, and send it to my PMs so we can see if this was actually true.
So
So, and that's on period.
And
And
that's our
before
period.
I'm going to end this with the day. The pot calling the kettle black is not something we do here. You know, if someone gets busted for, a DUI and try. Okay,
I was
bye, ladies
busted
and
for a
gentlemen.
DUI. As president, I drove a car in the White House lawn and I was busted for a DUI by the Secret Service.
You know what? I actually got a picture of a when Robert turned on his camera. There was a an object, and no, there were two objects on the
Huh.
bed that I circled and I sent to Robert, and he said, "quote That is not mine. If you wish to see the picture, please DM me." Robert, you already know what thing I'm talking about.
I don't actually.
Okay, then scroll up. Well, if
Scroll up in the MEC view chat.
Let's
oh my
talk about mech
Jesus Christ,
What'd you say, Adam?
PMs.
Let's talk about mech history.
Yes.
of course you
Okay.
do.
Let's talk about our memories of the Uberfeld presidents.
Let's talk about how
That's
Trey.
gonna somehow.
Let's
That's
talk
gonna.
about Trey about to send us to a trade war.
That's gonna pivot into the Evans presidency. I can see it now.
3 days later, resigned.
Oops.
Remember how season 19 was rigged?
Funny.
Season 19. Who ran there?
Pretty sure it was
Adam Evans.
Ubi
Adam
and
Evans.
Fitzgerald.
Who?
Yeah.
That's
Wait.
oh.
Okay, Fitzgerald should be president again. Change my mind.
Terrell, how's Ohio? You've been awfully quiet. How is Governor DeWine? He's very
Senator
good. Oh,
Sherrod.
yeah, I am. David, how was your Mexican? How was your president?
Senators. Oh.
How was your president?
Andres Manuel López Obrador.
Yeah, the
The
one that
hell
has
are
like
you speaking
the one.
American here?
We're not. This isn't Beto O'Rourke here. We
Yeah,
are speaking English.
the
Right.
one that said that he was going to
We
sell all
speak
the
American.
presidential stuff. You remember that? The president that said that he was going to sell all the presidential things. He said he was going to sell the planes, the cars,
Yes.
everything. So, did he actually sell it?
I think he has turned.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Those things haven't been sold. Guess what? He lied. Lied to the public.
All right, we need to take a moment for our sponsor just to quickly say if anyone needs any coffee, all coffee needs should go to Heartwing Brewery.
All coffee.
It's on MeWe. Look up Heartwing Brewery and you'll find
Coffee!
$16 to $20 per pack.
Come get your coffee! The Colombian one style.
Shit. Okay, let's talk about some real life events. So this is The View. So ladies, how do you like the fact that our allies are slapping a $28 tariffs on us? Hence the EU. The EU is about to slap $28 on tariff against the United States to combat climate change.
Well, the
So
United States should
how do you think
Brexit from
about
the
that?
EU. That's what I say.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else? I'm tired of hearing Robert's opinion. Come on, anyone else? Please, going once, going twice. And Nathan, you have been picked.
What?
Oh,
What?
Nathan, how is your father? Is he protecting the mayor from Atlanta?
No. He's at home right now.
Put him on the phone.
No.
Yes, I need to get the number from the mayor. Now,
Do you? Okay.
I'm going to call her and I'm going to tell her to do something very special.
Right. Okay.
It's called purchasing a pump and a phallus. And that's how you pivot.
Yeah.
I heard a Latina. Okay, since everyone is on mute, I am officially departing. So, in the words of Hank Johnson, my representative, the pot calling the kettle black is not